Ladies' time has expired. The gentleman, the
Madam
ranking
Chair.
member from Kentucky, is now recognized. Mr. Comer for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, I'm not even going to comment on what Ms. Bush said, but I'll say this. Crime's going to be a top priority for the Republicans on this committee in the next Congress. And perhaps Ms. Bush could come give us some pointers on how she's reduced crime in St. Louis since she's been in Congress, and what her ideas are to further reduce crime in St. Louis. But wait a minute, St. Louis has one of the highest crime rates in America. So maybe she can come tell us how to secure the border and give her expertise on crime moving forward, because that's what the issue is in America. We have a crime rate that's out of control, and we have to do better in America. Mr. Lehman, your testimony makes the case that hate crime offenders are not specialists. These criminals often have prior criminal offenses. Can you explain how our current justice system is set up to handle bias-based crimes?
Can you just clarify what specific component you're asking about? Abstractly, how bias-based crimes work, or how we're responding to them currently?
Both.
The law of bias-based crime or hate crime varies across jurisdiction, varies across state. You'll observe, for example, there's a marked increase in offenses against transgender people reported to the FBI since 2012. A lot of that's just because prior to that, hate crime laws in many states did not incorporate transgender people, and they still don't in some states. In most cases, a bias-motivated offense is hate crimes are enhancements to other offenses. They're charging enhancements to another offense. So if I shoot somebody, I would get one sentence, and if I shoot at them in a way that is provably motivated by my beliefs about them or their membership in a protected class, there can be a higher sentence associated with it. Does that answer the question?
So let me ask you this question.
Please.
The Club Q shooter had been previously arrested for making violent threats against their mother, which ended in a standoff with the law enforcement. That's pretty serious. The case was dismissed due to the family's refusal to cooperate. You stated in your testimony that had prosecutors succeeded in eliciting the cooperation, 5 people might be alive today. How essential is it that prosecutors remain strong, armed on crime, and see these cases through?
Absolutely. Prosecuting hate crimes is challenging. That component that I referred to earlier, proving that somebody has a biased motivation, is hard. It's actually gotten easier in the age of social media because people write down their thoughts so much more, but it's still very challenging. Best practices are not widely understood. So I think it's important, particularly in hate crime cases, that prosecutors dedicate substantial resources to clearing the case. There are often abysmal clearance rates on hate crime. For example, in New York City, I think the Bronx District Attorney's Office cleared, I think, fewer than 15% of hate crimes referred to it. It's a real challenge. They need to put more effort into it.
Right. Well, and this is obviously something, Madam Chair, I appreciate the hearing, because crime is out of control against everyone, the LGBT community, the Jewish community. We've seen crime increases at historically black colleges and universities, Christian groups. So we need to do better, and this should be a topic of priority for the next Congress. Certainly, we need to look at the prosecutors, because we have, especially in the Speaker's home city of San Francisco, prosecutors just recalled. And I don't think anyone's going to classify San Francisco as a bastion of conservative voters. He was recalled for not prosecuting. And I think that people in America want prosecutors to do their job and hold criminals accountable and keep them off the streets. So that's going to be a priority. We certainly want to focus on securing the southern border. We believe that's a problem, especially when you look at the fentanyl and drug overdoses in America. We certainly want to fund our law enforcement. Obviously, there are always going to be bad actors in law enforcement, as in every other profession. They need to be held accountable. But we have to take crime seriously, because that is, the top issue, one of the top issues among the voters, especially in the last midterm election. So, Madam Chair, I look forward to working with this committee addressing the issue of crime in the next Congress, and I yield back.
Okay, the gentleman from Massachusetts.